North Carolina's Ned Jarrett is putting other pilots to shame as he bombs away in a 63 Ford Supercharger. But his belated bid to catch the leader will prove unsuccessful. With 2 laps to go, there is still a fierce battle raging for the second, third, and fourth positions behind the front runner, who is Dick Petty. Dick is on top by 25 seconds. Houston's Billy Wade in car number 5, a 63 Dodge, has come on strong in the late stages of this race. Running second to Petty in car number 28, a Ford, is Fred Lorenzen. The crowd strains to catch a glimpse of Dick Petty as he steers the lead car across the finish, a full 25 seconds ahead of runner-up Fred Lorenzen.
Richard Petty, a little bit over a lap to go now in that 64 Plymouth. The white flag will be out for him. He'll have 2.5 miles to go once he gets it. As he comes by everybody standing now, what a great race he's had here today. And the white flag is given to him as the battle goes on for second place. Jimmy Pardue in a Plymouth and Paul Goldsmith in a Plymouth. But officially, Goldsmith is 1 lap behind Pardue. Frankly, I don't think Goldsmith knows it because he's been battling him right bumper to bumper practically for the last 5 or 6 laps. But Pardue has 1 lap on Goldsmith. And all the attention now on Petty as he streaks down the backstretch. From Randleman, North Carolina, he's married, he has 2 children, another one on the way. He's been racing since 1958, but he's never won a big one. And he isn't far from doing it today. He was second in point standings last year, a very consistent driver, but that big one has always eluded him. Now all of his pit crew is out, and here he comes. The checkered flag is out and ready for Richard Petty. The last lap he turned was 170 miles an hour, so he hasn't slacked off a bit, and there's the checkered flag for Richard Petty, the winner of the 6th annual Daytona 500.
Petty has a lock on first place. Isaac has worked himself all the way back to second. Jarrett holds on to third. Petty takes the checkered flag ahead of Isaac and Jarrett.
This is Kurt Gowdy again with all-time racing great Roger Ward from Daytona, Florida. The weather, as you can see now, is bad. There's a yellow flag. They're driving now on a wet track, and they slowed them down. Richard Petty is the leader. We may have a shortened race here. And now the white flag's up. 1 more lap. Petty is average. Look at the weight.
Actually, this is very dangerous here. This amount of water on a racetrack can be very dangerous. They're running probably 125 miles an hour. Without windshield wipers, so it's difficult to even see where they're going.
Petty's going to average over 160 miles an hour in this race, but in a short race, his record will not count. The first auto race, by the way, was run on Thanksgiving Day in America back in 1895. Average speed for the winner, 7.5 miles an hour. A great comeback for the Plymouths. They were barred last year with their Hemi heads, and here they are winning the first major race of 1966. Richard Petty, who started in racing by washing and cleaning auto parts in his dad's garage. His father's won this event. Petty's about to win his second Daytona 500. He's coming for the finish line. He'll win over $30,000 in prize money. And there's the checkered flag. Richard Petty wins the Daytona 500.
Yarbrough turning it on is edged by Spencer and holds down fourth. But there's no catching Petty. With one lap left, the youthful charger from Randleman, North Carolina, is home free for his second major win of the season. Since his earlier checker at the Daytona 500, Petty has not been able to find his way to victory circle until today. Petty takes the checker and gives Plymouth its 8th win in 15 starts.
So Richard Petty takes the white flag, David Pearson right behind, and enters the last lap, the payoff lap, here at Darlington, South Carolina. And the Plymouth has been in and out of the lead all afternoon. David Pearson in car number 17 had early race problems, is in second place. He's not letting up one bit, and perhaps maybe wants to get in the same lap with Petty in his first forward ride. There's the checkered flag, and Petty has made it. Made racing history, has won the Rebel 400 in his 1967 Plymouth. Here he comes into the front stretch. And there's the flag that means one lap to go. Petty's still running full throttle, passing them where he finds them. Halfway up the backstretch, he can coast home from here. The Petty crew and everybody along the pit walls holding their breath. Here he comes. Richard Petty wins the Southern 500.
Out of the fourth turn and onto the main straight. That Plymouth snarls under the white flag. One more lap, and Monday he goes to the bank. Down the long back chute and once more past the sun-blistered crowd for the checkered flag. Richard Petty is the winner of the Old Dominion 500. The white flag, and with one more lap to go, Richard buries his foot in the muscle box and has that Roadrunner hung out all the way. Pearson in the Ford, number 17, is second and trying to close, but that Hemi is too hot today, and with a half a lap to go, Petty is actually stretching him. Now that electric blue number 43 pounds down off the high bank fourth turn and screams under the checkered flag. Richard Petty wins his second American 500.
We just received a time from the officials. Richard Petty has recorded the day's highest trap speed, an unbelievable 143.26 miles an hour. This is the fastest Motor Trend 500 in history. Petty is setting new records on every lap. Right now, he's running 5 miles an hour faster than last year's record. On the last lap, Richard blisters his electric blue number 43 Ford through turn 9 and down the straight for the checkered flag.
Starter Rufus Crumpler giving it to him. There's the white flag. One lap for Richard Petty. And now the checkered flag will come out. Live racing from North Carolina on a beautiful spring afternoon. First picnic of the season down here on Wide World of Sports. Stand by for the checker. The crowd on its feet, ready to wave, ready to greet their hero in North Carolina. Richard Petty is the winner of the Grand National 250-mile, 400-lap race at North Wilkesboro, North Carolina.
Petty is driving full bore to maintain his lead in the final stages of the race. Allison in number 22 does not back off in his hot pursuit. Don Knoll in number 88 gets off the course in turn 6. Richard Petty hangs on to the lead, takes the checkered flag, and wins the Falstaff 400 and a purse of $14,000.
I'll tell you, the last race we saw here a year ago when Pete Hamilton won, he won it in the last gasp, and here we go for the white flag. And the final exciting moments of the 13th Daytona 500, it looks like at this point it's going to be Petty, Baker, and Foyt.
A.J. has made a great drive, and Richard Petty is unable to catch him. At least A.J. Foyt is winning this last lap drive. He won't win the race. He just can't win it. But Richard is right there behind him, and A.J. is showing him some speed. He's showing him some class all day long. But Petty, the great Southern stock car driver, coming around now will take the checkered flag for an unprecedented third Daytona 500 triumph, making him a man among men in stock car racing. And now for the flag in his 120th career victory as A.J. takes the white silk.
There's the white flag with only one more lap to go. There's only one question in Martinsville. Can David do it? In the third turn, Davey is wound out right on Petty's bumper. He may do it, but he can't quite make it as the Petty Plymouth rips under the checkered flag, 1 second ahead of David Pearson. Here he comes out of the fourth turn, down the front chute for the white flag. One more lap to go. The Plymouth 43, the first car to complete 500 laps, and Richard Petty is the winner of the Virginia 500.
Tough break for Buddy Baker, but a good one, of course, for somebody else. It's always the case, and here comes Richard Petty. He should get the white flag this time, meaning that the leader has one more lap to go to victory. There it is, one to go.
What a race for a man who's waited a long time to do this, but he hasn't waited as long as a lot of people have, and in this time he's won more races than perhaps anybody else. He certainly won more money than anybody else in this trail. A very talented young man, a great ambassador, in fact, for the sport, and somebody who, of course, has made a success out of this Southern Trail, this NASCAR trail.
Certainly has Richard Petty, who altogether has won some $1,300,000 on the NASCAR trail, $227,000 of it last season in 1972.
when he won his 4th Grand National Championship. Headed for the checkered flag. Down in front of the crowd now. They're on their feet and cheering and waving. This is Petty country again today. The checkered flag is out, and Richard Petty has won the Daytona 500.
Driving a very well-balanced race throughout. Here's the sign of a great racing driver. We said it right at the top of the show. We said it right at the beginning. And, of course, here we're seeing it in action. Richard Petty, who's had more experience of winning on this racetrack than anybody else. And there's the prize money. First prize, $31,050. Second prize, $13,750. And third place, $8,700.
Big payoff, as you saw, flashed on your screen, and the race, of course, run under the sanction of NASCAR. And there's lots of action coming up for you down the road, including the Carolina 500, which will be run at Rockingham. And you'll have action at Richmond, Virginia. And the checkered flag is out. Here comes Richard Petty. Richard Petty has won the Daytona 500 for 1974.
He sets the red and blue number 43 right in the middle of the track as he comes out of the 4th turn for the last time, onto the tri-oval and under the checkered flag, winner of the Carolina 500.
Meanwhile, an engine is blowing up in turn number 4. It's J.D. McDuffie in trouble in the 4th turn. Barney Hall.
McDuffie, with a plume of fire and smoke coming from under the car for a moment, Ken, wisely gets the car down to the bottom of the racetrack as quickly as he can to get out of traffic so he'll dump no debris or oil on the speedway. And let's see if the caution is going to come out. McDuffie is on pit road.
Caution is on the speedway. A crash in turn number 3. Cuckoo Marlin went in the wall. He's trying to right his automobile. A second car went down to the inside. Here comes Petty across the line, leading with 5 laps remaining in the event. Pearson is going to pit. Something has been ailing on the car, and this will put Earl Ross up into second spot, the Elsa Craig Ontario campaigner, and they are changing tires on Pearson's car. Apparently they got a bad bite on the machinery before from that last pit stop. And there's still a lot going. White flag is out. 1 lap remaining, and car number 40 is dropped down on the inside of the speedway. Car number 40 is down here by John Bruner Sr. D.K. Ulrich, and now continues on his way. This is not the way that any race driver really wants to win, but any win is a good win, right, Banjo?
That's right. Any way you take the money to the bank and get it in the record books, that's what does it. This is one of the very few races in NASCAR that finishes on the caution, and I think it really would have been something if the green flag would have came back out.
And for you fans here at the racetrack, what about a tremendous ovation for Cuckoo Marlin of Columbia, Tennessee? His car badly wrinkled, put on a fine display. The Cunningham Kelly Chevrolet, which had been running in 4th position.
Car number 14 goes back to the garage area. Front and rear end all torn up on car number 14. And ladies and gentlemen, down the backstretch, Richard Petty, the all-time king, is about to pick up his 159th career victory. It'll be the 5th of this season. Previously, this year, Richard Petty has scored victories at Daytona Beach, and that's his only other super speedway victory this season. A correction on that. He also won at Rockingham on the mile, and then he won at North Wilkesboro, North Carolina. Today, he records victory number 4 of the year, and he retakes the number 1 position in the nation over Cale Yarborough in this event, picking up $14,000, and second place worth $7,000 will go to this brilliant Canadian driver whose strategy paid off. It'll be Earl Ross, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a fine ovation for Earl Ross of Elsa Craig, Ontario, and Richard Petty as the field completes 180 under caution. A great day, and Ken Campbell will be down there with Richard Petty and hopefully with Earl Ross momentarily.
White flag is out for Richard Petty. One more lap, and he drives the big Dodge into victory lane. Here he comes out of the 4th turn and right down the middle of the front chute. Richard Petty wins the Southeastern 500.
This could be a sensational restart, and what a lap it could be at the end.
After 500 miles, it's a one-lap race, and there they go. The 2 lead cars, and the cars battling for this championship. Richard Petty's never won it. Suddenly he's in trouble just when he had it all wrapped up. But whether or not Buddy Baker can catch him is a big question, because all afternoon he's not been able to do it. Richard Petty out in front, Buddy Baker about 50 yards behind him, down the straightaway. Can Buddy do anything on that straight? It's his last chance on the straight. Otherwise, he'll have to do it in the corners. He'll have one more shot at him coming out of turn 4. He's gaining at the moment.
He is gaining.
Buddy Baker cutting down low. It's going to be a fantastic finish. But it looks to me like Richard will hold on. Here he comes. Richard Petty winning his first Atlanta 500 by 50 feet over Buddy Baker.
The white flag is out. A half a mile more, and Richard Petty will chalk up his 169th career win. He holds the Dodge right in the groove as he rounds out of the 4th turn for the last time today, onto the front chute and under the checkered flag. Winner of the Virginia 500.
There's another spin out in the 2nd turn, and it seems as if the power of the old track is out to grab him. But Petty keeps right on charging. For 18 years, he has fought numerous hardships to set records that may never be surpassed. Over 160 NASCAR victories, 5 Grand National Championships, and now nearly $2 million in winnings. This race is the highlight of a career, the final stepping stone to total success, the big one that has slipped away so many times. Richard Petty wins the World 600, America's longest racing classic.
The sort of tactics they're playing now are really cat and mouse. This is something we're going to see at the end of a motor race, and it's a classical stock car situation. It's going to be a drafting situation that's going to be. Because Buddy Baker, we always felt during this race, had a slight edge in power. This man, Richard Petty, started 13th position. But look how he's extending this lead at this time. We suspected that Buddy Baker had a little bit in hand with power. But my goodness, he's losing a little bit of the advantage that I wouldn't like to have at this time.
But remember, Richard Petty has never won the Firecracker 400. Will he today? Virtually the entire crowd of some 65,000 standing here at the Daytona International Motor Speedway for the final moments of the Firecracker 400. And this man in car number 43 has never won this event, and everybody knows it. And you can see he has built up a huge lead over Buddy Baker. As a matter of fact, Jackie, at this particular point, as they come around for the final lap and the white flag, I think Buddy Baker has just surrendered it.
Yes, it looks like he's slowing down a little bit. He was a little unsteady in the banking there as they get the white flag into the last lap. It seems to me that he's gone a little slower, not Richard, a lot faster.
All right, Richard continuing to go along, just has to finish this lap, and he has knocked down another barrier. Dave Marcus, car number 71, is going to take third place on a good driving job. He's a lap down to the leaders, and fourth is Darrell Waltrip, the youngster who won earlier this year at Nashville, Tennessee. He takes the number 4 spot after experiencing gear troubles earlier, and Donnie Allison will finish in the number 5 position, 2 laps back of the leaders. But from this point on, it is a question of whether or not old Lady Luck is going to help Richard across the finish line. That is not Buddy Baker closing there. That appears to be Donnie Allison, who is 2 laps back of the leader. But Buddy Baker has dropped well off the pace. It's now a matter of what Richard does as he comes off 4, headed for the checkered flag and the finish. Here he comes. He's won the Firecracker 400. Buddy Baker will come on in second, followed by Dave Marcus, Darrell Waltrip, and Donnie Allison.
1 lap to go. The white flag is out. David Pearson is in front. Richard Petty is in second. This is it for the decision in this $100,000 battle.
Both cars go high to the outside wall. Pearson begins to open it up a little bit. There's a car length between them as Petty moves up very, very high on the racing lane. Now cuts back, wants to go to the inside. Pearson cutting up, squaring off the second turn. Comes off. Richard Petty moves right up on his rear deck. He will not make the move as they go down the back stretch.
They'll have no help coming down the back stretch or in the front stretch. There's no slow traffic in front. Here's Pearson down to the number 3 corner. Petty 1 car length back. Pearson eases out against the wall in turn 3, and he gets a little bit high. Down to the inside comes Richard Petty. David got a little bit high in the corner there, door-to-door out of the 4th turn and moving to you, Ken Squire.
Here they come to decide it all. Petty is on the inside. He pulls up. Pearson moves back. Petty has won, and he waves as he comes across the line. He wins by 5 feet. Richard Petty has won the champion Sparkplug 400.
White flag coming out next time around for Richard Petty. Here he comes. There's the white, 1 lap to go. And as he goes through turn 1, he's still up in that high groove and running well. David Pearson now he's half a racetrack behind him. So I'm going to say as Petty comes down off turn number 2, working his way down the back straight, unless he faints on his way to the clubhouse, he's got this one in hand. Richard Petty getting his second win of 1977. Boom. There it is. Checkered flag for King Richard.
Richard Petty seems to be on his way to victory in the World 600. Tomorrow, the NASCAR Grand National competitors are in Riverside, California. June 19th in Michigan, July 4th at Daytona Beach, Florida. Here is David Pearson, Petty, coming in just to take a little gas gasoline to get him to the finish, David.
I would imagine so. He's obviously not going to win the race, so he just wants to make sure he does finish and come second.
Meanwhile, car number 72 has fallen a lap down. That car, too, has made a pit stop. So number 21 is just putting some security in the tank for second place.
That's a good demonstration of what a disaster a green flag stop is. He only actually stopped for 2 seconds and lost about 30.
One lap remaining, and Richard Petty goes into turn number 1. He's not all the way on the high side. He seems to be coming out of the throttle, really coming down dramatically in speed here, as this driver who has won so many times, this will be his 183rd victory, just with such assurance, concluding this masterful race this afternoon.
Well, he won't be taking any chances at all on this last lap.
Here's Petty out of turn number 4. Lives only about an hour and a half on this racetrack, but went for years without winning here. Finally broke in 1975 and won both this race as well as the race in October, the National 500. There's your winner. Richard Petty has won the World 600 for 1977 at the mile-and-a-half Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Chris, you want to make a comment here before you head toward victory lane?
Well, I think that Cale Yarborough's coming back has preserved his point lead by probably a very slim margin. Petty certainly would have taken the point lead had Yarborough remained in the garage.
Okay, Richard Petty has 3/4 of a lap to go before he pulls into victory lane. He can almost coast in from here. The way we have it figured out is that Richard Petty, who was 103 points down to Cale Yarborough coming into this race, is going to pick up 85 or 90 points. It's going to be probably somewhere between 10 and 15 points difference at the end of this race. And now everybody's standing, a lot of Petty fans here today, naturally. This will be the 185th victory in Richard Petty's long and illustrious career, more than any other driver. The checkered flag is out for him, and here it is, the winner of the Firecracker 400.
Cale Yarborough is one of the toughest men I've ever met. He is absolutely fantastic. He never gets phased. And of course, this is tremendous value as you get down near the race here, where you've got to be making some pretty thick mental decisions. If you're physically right up to it, your physical losses make no effect on you, and you can really think clearly and carefully. There's no doubt about it that Cale Yarborough, the white flag is out. 1 lap to go. This is it, last lap.
Stand by for a finish. Two of the greatest fiddling here, fidgeting with first place, passing some of the stragglers in the last lap, trying to take it home. It's all come down to this. Out of turn 2, Donnie Allison in first. Where will Cale make his move? He comes to the inside. Donnie Allison throws the block. Cale hits him. He slides. Donnie Allison slides. They hit again. They drive into the turn. They're hitting the wall. They're head on the wall. They slide down to the inside. Let's watch those third place cars. They're out of it. Who is going to win it? Coming down, third place. They're coming around for the finish. Between A.J. Foyt and Richard Petty. Down the back straightaway come the leaders now. 2 cars are out. In the backstretch are the leaders. Watching for the leaders to, they're still up in turns 3 and 4. The leaders are up in turns 3 and 4. Coming down, Richard Petty is now pulling out in front. Darrell Waltrip is in second. A.J. Foyt is in third. Here they come. Waltrip trying to slingshot. Petty is out in front at the line. Waltrip to the inside. Petty wins it. Down on pit road, it has gone crazy. The Petty crew is out there jumping up and down. Petty has won it.
But for Petty, it could be his first win on a short track since 1975. Petty down for the final time as the white flag last lap signal is out. Down the backstretch, the STP Chevrolet is high, wide, and handsome. Out of turn 4, Richard Petty comes to the stripe, and he will win the Virginia 500. Checkered flag is out. Petty wins.
1 lap to go for Richard Petty, who looks like he's on his way to his 193rd career win. I'll tell you, I want to be there the day he wins 200. The crowd up on their feet. One of the most beloved race drivers in the history of the sport, going down into turn number 2. You are watching an incredible moment in the history of motorsport. Here is a man winning the most difficult, the most prestigious stock car race there is for the 7th time. Bobby Allison. No-win situation.
The sort of strategy he pulled here is like sinking about a 90-foot putt to win the U.S. Open by 1 hole.
Out of turn number 4, Richard Petty holding on to that lead like a hammerhead shark. Here he comes, coming down, seeking out. And is he slowing down? Is he running out of fuel? He's coming across the line slowly, but he takes the checkered flag.
White flag will be coming out as Harold Kenders shows the white flag to Bill Elliott and Richard Petty. This is the final lap at Rockingham, less than a mile to go. Richard Petty is the leader, Bill Elliott right behind him. They're out of the second turn now down the backstretch. Bill Elliott is going to have to make his move. There is a lot of traffic ahead of them as they go into the 3rd and 4th turns now. Here they come toward the 4th turn and the start-finish line coming up. Bill Elliott will make one desperate attempt as he goes to the inside. Richard Petty holds him off, and Richard Petty picks up a victory at Rockingham, North Carolina Motor Speedway, his first since 1981, and the crowd celebrates with King Richard. It's been a long time since he was in victory lane, and ESPN has brought you his victory live this afternoon.
And a problem for Joe Ruttman, number 98, the man who started outside front row smoking badly. He's on pit road. So as with the blown engine from Ruttman, Carson Oil go into the race course, but they put the yellow flag out. Richard Petty heads down into the tri-oval. The flag in the hand of the starters is the white flag with 1 more lap to go. Richard Petty leads the field around. Now the question is that of strategy. This is the lap that so often counts in Grand National racing. Benny Parsons sits back in 2nd, Lake Speed in 3rd, Harry Gant in 4th. Richard Petty knows this track well, but has never been able to win here in the spring race. Petty on the backstretch, leading Benny Parsons. Parsons closes in. Will he try it at 3? Some drivers say if they don't try it here, it's too late to do it. Elliott makes a bid to come past Gant. Parsons slides back a bit, as does Lake Speed. Richard Petty is continuing to power off the 4th turn. Petty appears to be unchallenged now as they head down into the tri-oval. Parsons tries him high. Parsons tries him low. Petty moves up and down with every maneuver that Parsons makes. And Richard Petty is heading for the checkered flag. And he doesn't. The checkered flag flies for Richard Petty, the winner here at Talladega. Big number 43 has done it once again.
Richard Petty seeking his 198th win, his 2nd win in this 500-mile race at Charlotte, North Carolina, closes up behind his son as he comes off turn 4.
Yes, it looks like right now that he doesn't want to put Kyle another lap down, but he's going to have to go ahead and do it. If he doesn't, Darrell's going to get right back to him.
A lap to go, 1 lap remaining. Richard Petty is in front. A surprising turnaround today as Richard Petty has moved up through with a lot of patience and prudence, and now Petty finds himself out in front as they're getting ready for the checkered flag. One time previously, Petty has come to victory in this event. He started the race today in 20th position, and a resurgent Richard Petty is rolling to the line. He is going to win the Miller High Life 500 for 1983. Waltrip will come across in 2nd. Finishing in 3rd will be Benny Parsons.
The lap's winding down, and Tim Richmond with a lot of race traffic ahead of him, including 2 good, strong battles for position.
It would take just about a major miracle for Tim Richmond to catch Richard Petty.
White flag for Richard Petty as he rounds turns 1 and 2. His crew up high on the pit wall, and Richard can just about coast home from here.
That's right. He seems to have it well in hand right now. He's got a half a lap to go. He's running 135 miles an hour. He can coast in from here.
46 years old and almost twice as many victories as his next closest pursuer.
Richard Petty comes off turn 4, takes the checkered flag, and wins the Budweiser 500.
Now as they try to position themselves for the last lap first to the finish, when they cross the yellow line on the front straight here, there will be 3 laps remaining in the race. They're now on lap 150, and a car is spun out. Doug Heveron's car is spun out in turn 1. So now the yellow caution flag may be coming out. Indeed, as I look just below us, the yellow caution flag is going to come out. This will, in all intents and purposes, perhaps be the last lap of the race. The rule requires them to solidify under the caution at the beginning of the next lap.
It's an incredible situation. Now, are they going to race to the line? This is an interesting rule situation, Jim. You are allowed to race to the line once the yellow has come out. Cale Yarborough did that. Richard Petty is counterattacking. This may be the race that we're looking at here as they sweep up into traffic. A highly dangerous situation.
Coming down the front straight. Here they are, Sam. They will come across the yellow line just about together, but Petty had the lead. By the nose of the car, Richard Petty was just in front of Cale Yarborough as they came across the line. Now they have completed 158 laps. There are 2 laps to go, and in all likelihood, we would have to guess this race is going to end under a caution and Petty's going to win.
Incredible, yes, and as you know, you are allowed, I just restate this, to race to the finish line under the yellow flag, and that's what we saw. We saw Yarborough realized the predicament that he was in, that he had to get by. Here's the Petty pit crew. You see what they think has happened.
Well, they believe, and probably safely so, that the race has ended, that there will be no more racing under a green flag, that as the caution stays out for these last 2 laps, Richard Petty will simply hold on to first place. Doug Heveron's car, number 01, is nestled just on the infield inside of turn 1. It's going to take some time to move it. And in all likelihood, there will be no more racing. So Petty will come by now with 1 lap to go. And behind Petty, Cale Yarborough is turning off and heading toward pit road. Hard to imagine what is going through Cale's mind. He can sacrifice second place if he makes a pit stop here, but Petty has the lead with 1 lap to go.
Cale coming into the pits. Petty still out on the racetrack, piling up an enormous advantage now. What could be the reason? No, Cale goes right through the pits and back out. I'm trying to think if there's any remaining element of strategy that could have dictated that move. I can't think of it.
Hard to imagine exactly what Cale Yarborough was thinking at that point, unless he just simply decided in disgust that the race was over.
But he would have given away other positions. We have Terry Labonte running back there. So I don't know.
The scoreboard has been confused for the moment. Now it shows lap 159 completed. So Richard Petty may in fact get a checkered flag as he comes down the front straight the next time. We're following Petty now on your screen as his car at the front of the pack goes through turn 3. They have slowed down for the yellow caution flag. Now just to take a look back at exactly what happened. The caution flag came out as they went down the backstretch. Cale Yarborough moved to the front of the pack ahead of Richard Petty. They were racing to the yellow line. The caution actually begins on the next completed lap after the crash when the caution flag comes out. So, Richard Petty, by passing Cale Yarborough coming out of turn 4 on the front straight and beating him to the yellow line by the margin of the nose of his car, won the race. As they come down this time, you are going to see a checkered flag for car number 43. Richard Petty has won the 200th race of his incomparable Grand National Stock Car Racing career, and an unexpected thrill for the crowd here, which in effect saw the race end 3 laps early.
And a sensational rendezvous with destiny for Richard Petty, who has political aspirations. He will now, not for the first time, be meeting President Reagan as part of the victory celebration. Richard Petty, on this day, has fulfilled a great dream.